Hi, it's me JD and welcome back to my channel. The holidays are right around the corner, and in this video I'm going to show you some different ways to make traditional and non-traditional cards using the same stamp set or supplies. As always, be sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up if you like what you see.
The first card we're going to do involves a Fawn stamp that I got that has these fun Christmassy elements on there which don't match my bright neon nails, but whatever. I stamped, colored, and cut out these bad boys off camera to save time and because I don't want you to see how bad my coloring skills are in real time. In one side I used very traditional red and greens, on the other side I went for this like Nordic, Icelandic sort of blue Christmas feel. Going to get out my Easy Clean mat for some ink blending. Using the same color schemes as my stamps, I'm going to ink blend on my background. First I'm going to cut out a mask so I can create this kind of snowy hill bank thing that the little Santa's elves will be standing on. I'll ink blend some distressed oxide ink over the top of this in sort of a gradient to get the really dark color up at the top and the light color as it heads more towards the snow. I'll repeat the same steps for my non-traditional card, and now for the peel reveal. So satisfying. I wanted to add water droplets to add some interest to my background, so I spritz it from the top and I'll dab it off with some paper towels, and it wasn't enough, so I'm going to use the spray it in your hand method, and it got me huge blobs. Cool. I've not yet perfected the fine art of water droplets on distressed oxide inks. If you've been here before, you know that I just find a way to work with my mistakes. In this case, I am going to cover it up with some little elves and presents. With this whole scene that is set, the blobs don't look so blobby anymore. They look like, more of a bokeh effect, however you pronounce that word. Either way, it works for me. Now I'm just going to stamp my sentiment on the cards, and I wanted to attach them to card bases to have a nice frame around my scene. And of course, this is the moment my tape runner rebels against me. Thankfully, it was just on the back of the card, otherwise I would have been really upset. Like, I would have been an angry elf. Like, Santa would have taken me off the nice list. Anyway, these elves are so cute and they make such a cute card, but I realized that Fawn does not make a Santa Claus. So Fawn, make a Santa, please. Next, I'll use one of my favorite stamp sets from this past year, which is the Wreath Builder set that works with the Wreath Builder template. And for this, you definitely need some square cardstock as well as a MISTI stamping tool or some kind of stamp positioner. I like to stamp the ring part first, so it gives me a guide, and then I'll show off my pretty Gina K inks. If you don't have any, I highly recommend trying them out. They ink so fabulously and they come in really pretty colors. I'll add my first stamp for my traditional Christmas card, which is a leaf. I'm going to make a very traditional Christmas wreath with very traditional colors, greens and reds. All you do is you stamp it once and then you turn it, either half a turn or a full turn, it's up to you. And then you ink it up and stamp. And then you rotate it again, then you ink and stamp, and rotate again and ink and stamp. And it really is a fun process because even if you miss a notch like I did there, you can easily just catch back up. Traditional shapes and design elements like these always make for a great looking holiday card. And if you change up the ink colors, you can definitely use this stamp set for different seasons as well. My Christmas wreath is pretty much complete at this point and nice and filled in, so I'm going to stamp my sentiment in the middle and get ready for my non-traditional card. I'll stamp a different ring onto my cardstock, and then once I remove it, do-over. As I was saying, I'm going to ink up my stamp for my non-traditional card, this time cleaning out the middle of the stamp. And then I'm going to use sort of non-traditional shapes. I mean, I think this was supposed to be berries, or ornaments, so I don't know. I'm kind of using it abstractly, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to use non-traditional Christmas colors, similar to the last card as well. I just wanted this to be like a I wanted this to resemble a wreath, but not look exactly like a typical green leaf wreath. So that's why I'm using this fun, like, bubble stamp, I guess. That's what I'm calling it now. It's a bubble stamp. After stamping my sentiment on there, I decided that it needed more bling, so I added some bling to the leaves on the traditional card and blings all over for the non-traditional card. And I'll use the Rebellious tape runner, and this time it behaves itself, thankfully, to add my my card fronts to coordinating card bases, just to help ground the card and help to frame it out and just look pretty, I think. These cards are done, and they would make great holiday cards, and if you get creative with it, that you can use them year-round for different occasions as well. I'm going to be doing some heat embossing for this next set of cards. First, I'll use some anti-static powdery tool thingy to get rid of any static. I'll ink up my stamp, which is a Christmas tree, first in Versamark ink, but then I realized that I wanted to ink up my sentiment stamp at the same time, since they'll be the same color. So yeah, I kind of like try to nudge that sentiment in there, which didn't really work. So I'll just ink up both the sentiment stamp and the Christmas tree stamp now at once, and swing the door over and stamp it again. I wanted to make sure that I pressed down really good and got really even pressure, because this is the stamp has a lot of detail to it. So I wanted to make sure that every detail was covered, and so I did a second coating of Versamark ink. Next, I'll pour some of this awesome glittery gold embossing powder over it, and just kind of flick off and brush off any excess. And then once my heat tool is hot, I'll heat up the embossing powder and make it melt all over my cardstock, which, by the way, looked really, really stunning in real life. Like, the video does not do it justice. And if you're using glitter embossing powder, I highly recommend heating from the back first, then moving to the front to trap all the glitter first, so they don't go flying off when you have your heat gun. Okay, so next I'm working on the non-traditional card. Same steps, so you know, I put some anti-static powder tool, inked up in Versamark ink. Didn't realize that I was kind of off camera for some of these steps, and yep, there you go. Now I realize, like, you're out of frame there, dummy. So I pushed my Misty up so you guys can see it now. I'm going to pour some white embossing powder over it, because this is a non-traditional Christmas card, which means a non-traditional Christmas tree. How do you guys feel about non-traditional Christmas trees, as in the white Christmas trees or the silver Christmas trees? I don't know. People can get defensive over their preference of Christmas trees. Do you prefer modern Christmas decor, or are you a purist? I know for our family, we prefer a green Christmas tree. However, we prefer using an artificial Christmas tree. For us, it's less mess and it's environmentally friendly. But I know there are some hardcore, like, pine tree lovers out there that love to either cut their own tree or go to a Christmas farm to pick one out. Either way, this card is almost finished. I'm going to add some ink blending around the sides just to zhuzh it up a little, give it some extra depth. You can see it better on the traditional green Christmas card that it kind of adds a glow when you add this ink blending around it. Anyway, that does it for the non-traditional and traditional Christmas card using one stamp, this stamp from Penny Black. I like both. It seemed to be the case for all of these cards today. I like the traditional and the non-traditional. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you got some inspiration to make some Christmas cards, traditional or non-traditional, of your own.